Good afternoon, students. Now, today we are going to learn about the important question asked on the foot, that means on the bones of the foot. Okay, though this is an articulated foot, and I will like to have the viva on this articulated foot because these days, okay, most of the examiners they don't prefer to ask the individual tarsals or metatarsals bone, but they just ask the some of the questions from the articulated foot. Okay, now the viva in the articulated foot may start like this: that what are the bones of the foot in the present in the foot? Okay, are the what, how, or you can, the examiner may ask like that, how the bones of the foot are classified, or what are the bones of the foot, okay, in the there in the articulated foot which you are handling. That may be the question from the examiner, right? So you can say that, okay, for this answer of this question, the bones in the foot are classified in three different categories. That means the tarsal bones, okay, this is the proximal part of the bones which are small bones, they are tarsal bones. Then there are the 5 metatarsal bones are there, and these 5 metatarsal bones, they are distally showing you the presence of the phalanges. So there are 3 types of bone: tarsus, metatarsals, and that of the phalanges. Okay, and that may be the short answer to this. Okay, so then he can ask you the show the various tarsus bone, or identify the various types of the tarsal bones. Now this bone which is more proximally placed here, and this is the largest tarsal bone is here, as there are 7. This is called as, tell him that this is the calcaneum. Okay, then overriding the calcaneum in the anatomical position is this bone which articulates with the lower end of the tibia and fibula to form ankle joint. Here is the talus bone. Then the third tarsal bone which articulates with the head of the talus here is the navicular bone. And on the lateral side, this is the cuboid bone because it appears as if it is a cube. So it is cuboid. And then articulating with the navicular bone, these are the 3 small bones called as the cuneiform. So on the medial side, that is towards the great toe, it is the medial cuneiform, intermediate cuneiform, and this is the lateral cuneiform. So these are the 7 tarsal bone. Then he may also ask you how the metatarsal bones are, numbered. How the metatarsal bone are numbered. That means, so you can say that numbering of the metatarsal bones will be from medial side, that is from the great toe side. And the bones for the metatarsal first is the thickest, so for the proximal and distinct phalanx, they are thickest, are the thick bones. So this is the first metatarsal, you say that from medial to lateral. Then this is the second, third, fourth, and the 5th metatarsal. The 5th metatarsal will show a bony process. I can call it as the tuberosity or sometimes stellate process from the base of the 5th metatarsal bone. Okay, basal. Now then there will be the question, or he may ask you the phalanges, regarding the phalanges. Okay, then how many phalanges are present in each toe? Then you can say that there are 3 phalanges in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th toe. Okay, and they form the 2 joints, proximal and distal interphalangeal joint. But on the other hand, the great toe has only 2 phalanges, and this form a single joint, that is the interphalangeal joint. Now then he may ask another question on the metatarsal, is that what are the parts of this metatarsal bone? You can say that it is the base, the shaft or body, and the head. Okay, then he may ask, what is the classification of the metatarsal? You may say that they are classified as long bones because they show the proximal and distal ends, and in between is the body or the shaft. That's why they are classified as miniature long bones. So they are also long bones, but they are miniature long bones. So are the phalanges too. They are also showing the two ends and intervening shaft or body. So phalanges are also classified as the miniature long bone. Now then, after knowing that, you know about the different bones, that is tarsal bones, metatarsal and phalanges, and you can identify the first metatarsal or great toe side. Then he may ask you to which side this articulated foot belongs. Then this will be easier question if you know about those, the bones which I have just discussed. That means you keep the first or the metatarsal or the great toe side towards the median plane, Talus should be on the top. And the first metatarsal and that means the great toe side should be medially placed. Okay, and from the fifth metatarsal, this tuberosity should be projected laterally. Okay, it should be placed laterally. So in this way, you can see that this belongs to that of the left side. This articulated foot belongs to that of the left side. There should be no problem. But if you will keep it from upside down like that, then what will happen, that here you are not seeing the talus. Okay, and I said that talus is the top bone in a normal anatomic. See this talus. So talus should be always upward and the great toes side should be medially placed. Okay, it should be. That will give you the side of the foot. Okay, it will give you the side of the foot. Okay. Okay, then there may be questions on the, he may say that how many rows are there in the this carpal bone, I mean say not carpal, in tarsal bone. As in carpal bones there are two rows, proximal and distal. Okay, how many rows are present in the tarsal bone? Though they are 7, but they have the 3 different rows. The proximal row is made up of the talus and calcaneus. See this, talus and calcaneus. Write this, if you see it from side, it will be seen better. Talus and calcaneum, they are the 2 tarsal bone which forms the proximal row. The middle row is formed by the navicular and the cuboid. It is formed by the navicular and the cuboid. And the distal row is formed by the cuneiform. This is not very important question, but somebody if asks, you can tell this. Okay. Then he may ask, tell the articulations of the navicular bone. Okay, because navicular bone articulates with many other bones. So you can say that important articulation here is with the head of the talus. Okay, talonavicular joint is here. Then the distal surface of the navicular bone articulates with that of the 3 cuneiform bones. Okay, it articulates with the 3 cuneiform bones. So it articulates with the head of the talus and distally with the 3 cuneiform bones, and these are the major, I mean to say, the articulations of the navicular bone. Then he may ask also, show me the sustentaculum talli, which is always on medial side. So this is the great toe, this is the medial side, and you see this projection which is grooved here for the tendon of tibialis posterior. You can say that this is the sustentaculum talli. Okay, sustentaculum, which is a projection on which the talus rests. Okay, this is for the support of the talus. This is called as sustent. That's why it is named as sustentaculum talli. Okay, now then he may ask that, show me the tuberosity of calcaneus or calcaneum. So you just, it is on plantar surface, okay, which is concave downward. You can say that this whole prominence is the tuberosity of calcaneum, and it presents the two tuberosities, a lateral process you can call of the tuberosity, and the this is medial because this is the great toe side. So larger one is the medial process of the calcaneal tuberosity, and this is smaller one is called as the lateral process of calcaneum, and this is the anterior tuberosity. So this is the tubercle, or you can call it as anterior tubercle. So this is these are on the plantar surface, okay. Now he can show you he can ask you also the sites of attachment of the tendocalcaneus. Tendocalcaneus, that means that is strong ligament of the calf muscle, where it is attached. You can always say that it is attached on the posterior surface of the this calcaneus, okay, heel, just at the heel, okay, above the heel. So it is attached into the middle part of the calcaneum. So this is the site for the attachment of the tendocalcaneus, okay. Now then he may ask also an important question, of course. He may ask you, tell me the name of the tarsal bone which has no muscular or bony attachment. There is no bone and there is no, there is no muscle attached to it, or there is no tendon directly attached to it. So you can say that it is talus. So talus has no bony attachment or the muscular attachment, okay. Then he can ask also, what lies in relation to this groove on cuboid, okay. This is an important question, okay. What lies? Can you see this cuboid bone? And on the lateral margin and on plantar surface of the cuboid, there is a groove. You can see it, yes. There is a groove here on cuboid, and this is for the tendon of the, you can answer that this is for the tendon of the peroneus longus. After coming through the peroneal retinaculum, okay, along with that of the peroneus brevis, the peroneus longus tendon, it winds round to that of the cuboid bone and then goes to get attachment onto the base of the navicular and the fifth and the first metatarsal. Right, so this is for peroneus longus. I think these are the questions which can be asked by the examiner on articulated foot or on the loose bone. So most of the loose bones are not important, so these days they are not asked, but you can prepare for talus as well as for the calcaneus as a separate bone, and their side determination can be seen. I will come back again to the in the next short video with further question on articulated foot, because there are many bones and there are many questions are there. Thank you very much for watching this video.